Right, here we go. Back again. Back again. Alright? And today it is the Georgia Guidestones and who I believe is behind it, or at least the man that put his name to it and funded it, because I believe there could be a few people who have had a hand in writing what is on these stones. But for just now, we will look at who I believe is the man that signed it and made it all official and gave the go-ahead and paid the builders, who then became the mayor, of course. So through that, we obviously know that it was somebody or a family with great influence and a lot of money. And we do know also from this article that it was a man who is now dead and who had a son. Right, so this article was from 2010. So that would mean that the man died before 2010. So I would say somewhere between 2000 and 2010 would have been when he died. I doubt it would have been in 2010 because I can't imagine it being the year that this article was done. So it would have been a few years before that, I would imagine, at least. And we do know from the stones, without going into great detail, one of the most obvious and notable things about the stones is that the person behind it obviously had a great love and care for nature, which is good for nature, but not so much us, of course. And this was the name, R.C. Christian. And of course, like we said before, it was a pseudonym. So it was a fictitious character. But one of the key points was that pseudonym was spelt wrong with an N instead of an M. And we know how words are kind of like spells, right? That's basically what words are. And we'll touch on that again. But I think there's only really one family to look at, bearing it all in mind. And that is, of course, these dudes here, the Rockefeller family. Now, I'm sure everyone's heard about these lot, but question is, which one? And if it is them, then surely there's some kind of connection somewhere, right? And if we look on the Rockefeller Foundation, a digital history, which is basically the Rockefeller website, you will find it no problem, that's for sure. But if you go on there, you will also find this photo here. And this photo here is a very old photo of a boys' corn club, right? But question is, where is this corn club? And would you believe it? It is in, as you can see, description, field meeting of boys' corn club in Elbert County, Georgia, right? And interesting numbers as well with the photo. So yeah, it's in Elbert County in Georgia. And as you can see, this is a map of Georgia here. And yeah, there's it highlighted in red. And would you believe it? That is exactly where, of course, the Guidestones are. Right, so yeah, that I suppose that is probably a decent connection. Right? It is certainly one, at least. And as for other connections, in terms of that family and Georgia, there is also a cottage, which was one of the Rockefellers' houses, and that is in Georgia as well. But that is on the coast, and it's like a boat club or a yacht club. Surprise, surprise. And in terms of other connections, there is also documented reports of court cases, and as you can see, it's in the Court of Appeals of Georgia, and it's a case v. the Rockefellers. And yeah, so question is, which one is it, right? And I don't think it could be this guy here, David, because David, he died seemingly in 2017. Right, so I don't think it's him. But I did get this tweet a couple of days ago in regards to my video, and it said, I watched a video today about the people who put it there, and the man who owned the field, the man who commissioned them under the name R.C. Christian, was in his 70s when they were erected in 1980. Right, and I asked for the video and I checked it out, and this was it here. And it was a man who interviewed the boy who met the person, R.C. Christian, and he was asking him basically what sort of person he was, and he said that he was a man who was very concerned about the environment. Right, so this is the sort of person that we're looking for, seemingly, who was obviously had a great love for nature and was very concerned or loved the environment, right? And he also did say that at the time, which would have been, of course, 1980, the man was in his early to mid 70s, right? And this guy that met him, he was part of building it. He's evidently a Freemason. And as you can see on his jumper, there's the letter G. And that is a dead giveaway. A Freemasonic giveaway. It's not a G-Unit jumper, that's for sure. I doubt that man's into his hip-hop. But I suppose you would never know. But yeah, he will be a Freemason. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, with him saying that he was in his early 70s, I think we have our man. And I believe it is this man right here. And this is, of course, Lawrence Spelman Rockefeller, right? Or Larry Spelman Rockefeller, if you like, all right? And I believe that this is the guy, right? And of course, Larry, age of death, 94, in the year 2004, which would make him 70-year-old in 1980. Right, so the penny kind of dropped there for me, but I could be wrong. There is a lot of stuff on the stones that point to different things, but it's not just the age that matches up and the family connection with Larry. It's also the type of person he was, because he's not your average Rockefeller. As you can see, born into one of the nation's greatest family fortunes, Lawrence Rockefeller had a lifelong affinity for the environment. The fourth of 6 children of John D. Rockefeller Jr. and Abby Aldrich Rockefeller, he earned a BA from Princeton University, attended Harvard Law School, and served in the Navy during World War II. Right, so he had an affinity for the environment. Surprise, surprise. Lawrence was less attracted to the spotlight than his brothers. Right, so he wasn't your average Rockefeller. While other family members distinguished themselves as businessmen and politicians, Lawrence was drawn primarily to the outdoors. He gave 50,000 acres to the National Park Service to form Virginia Islands National Park, was instrumental in the establishment of Redwood National Park in California, and donated his ranch to Grand Teton National Park in Wayne. Lawrence served under 5 presidents in several capacities related to conservation and the outdoors, founded the American Conservation Association in 1958, and was head of Jackson's Hole Preserve, Inc., a conservation organization. Right. He was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal in 1991 for his efforts to preserve the environment. He also became a pivotal developer of venture capital by helping to finance Eastern Airlines in 1938. At the time of his death, he was number 377 on Forbes' list of billionaires, with a fortune of 1.5 billion. Right, and another key thing from the stone is, on Rule 10 it says, not be a cancer on the earth, leave room for nature, leave room for nature. It's the only thing that's said twice, and I think that again is another clue as to who the person was, right? But I think Larry would have been the man that paid the builders and all the rest of it. But I think these Guidestones have been a long time in the making, right? There's so much about them. It goes on and on. So yeah, we will be back to these again for sure. That's not it. It's a rolling story like everything. But like I said, yeah, words are basically like spells. And this is something that we could look into again. But for now, I'll leave it at that in terms of the Guidestones, for the time being at least. But let me know what you think, and let me know if you think anyone else is behind it. And yeah, that's my guess anyway. And yeah, I could be completely wrong, of course. No one's perfect, right? But yeah, let me know what you think about it, or what your theory is behind them. And yeah, also, if I am right, then yeah, I might have to go into hiding now, right? So yeah, look out. But that is about it. Bye-bye.